In the last video, we looked at the present simple tense. We looked at what it does, what it is, what it's for. In today's video, we're going to be doing the same and looking at the present continuous tense. You'll learn what this tense does, how you can use it in your own conversations, and when you shouldn't use it. You'll see how to build it. You'll see what type of verbs you cannot use with it, and you'll see it in some common example sentences. Hi there, I'm Ed Anguish from Speak English with Ed, where we help new ESOL speakers learn English to pass the SELT exams. Today we're going to discuss the present continuous tense. So let's make a start.
The only way to learn is to talk.
The present continuous tense. What is the present continuous tense? Well, it's a way to say when the action that you're talking about takes or has taken place. There's the past, the present and the future. But in today's video, we're just going to be concentrating on the present. The present is this moment in time, and it's continually moving forward towards the future. When you're doing something, an action, and you complete it, that action then becomes part of the past. If we just go back and just have a look at the present simple that we did last week, and if you've not seen that, I'll put a link to that video at the top of the screen. We discovered that the present simple is used to talk about things that are true, generally true at the time that you're talking about them. But we don't talk about things that are actually happening at the time that you're talking about. That's a job for the present continuous tense, and that's what we're talking about in this video. So why is it called a present continuous tense? To be used in this tense, it must be an action that has already started. It started in the past and it hasn't yet been completed, so it's continuing. It's a continuous action until it's completed, and then when it's completed it becomes in the past. But while ever it's still being worked on or still being done, then it's a continuous action and it's in this tense. So when do you use this tense? Well, you use it when you're giving information to somebody. You may say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't come right now. I'm looking after the kids." Or you could say, "It's raining," but it has to be raining now to be able to say it's raining. Somebody could say, "Where's John?" And you could say, "Oh, he's repairing the car. He's outside repairing the car." Present continuous tense. Or she's writing a report for her manager. She's writing a report for her manager. Present continuous tense. They're teaching their kids at home. This could be some parents who have decided to homeschool their children, and they're doing it all from home. So you say they are teaching, present continuous tense, their kids from home. I'm learning English online. So you're doing it over a period of time. You might not be doing these last two there. You might not be doing them exactly at that time, but the overall big picture of teaching the kids and learning the language is being carried out right now. So although you might not actively be learning at the time, you are learning because it's the overall big picture, and that's when you use this tense. You use this tense for things that you're doing now, things that you are doing now. You use it for things that your friends are doing now. You want to talk about what they're doing. If they're doing it now, then you use this tense. And you can talk about the things that your things are doing. So what do I mean? Well, say you've got a car. The car's making a terrible noise now. If it's making a terrible noise, it's making a terrible noise. And you can use this tense for you, your friends, your things, or anything like that. You use it for anything that's ongoing at the time that you're talking about. So it's a continuous action. So when do you not use this tense? let's just pop back to the present simple again for a minute. As I said, the link will be in the description. We use the present simple when we're talking about a general truth, a recurring truth, a habit, routines and timetables, and for giving instructions or directions sort of thing. You don't use the present continuous for any of these things. You don't use it. You do not say, it's raining a lot in England. You use the present simple, and you say, it rains a lot in England. You do not say, the sun is rising in the east every morning. You use the simple tense here, the present simple, and you say, the sun rises in the east every morning, not the sun is rising in the east every morning. And you are going to the end of the street and turning left if you're giving instructions. This is the wrong tense to give instructions like that. You say, go to the end of the street and turn left, not you are going, which is the present continuous tense. You just tell them to go. So you don't use it for any of these things at all. So how do you build this present continuous tense? Well, you add the verb to be after the subject, and then you have the main verb, the main action verb, and you put ing on the end of it. It must be in a continuous participle and have ing at the end of it. So it'll look something like this: subject, verb to be, and then main verb with ing on the end of it. So you can have I as your subject, am as your verb to be, and working as your main verb with the ing. I am working. But be aware, the be verb here, in this case it's am, is subject dependent. Be verbs are subject dependent. What do I mean? Well, here am is am because of the pronoun that we've used. We've used I as a pronoun here. The verb to be for this pronoun is am. Here are the pronoun and verb relations. You say I am, you are, we are, they are, and he, she and it. He is, she is, and it is. These are all dependent upon the pronoun, so make sure that you use the right one with the right pronoun. Here's some examples. In this case, we've got I'm staying with my auntie until the decorators have finished my bedroom. Here, the present continuous tense is I am staying. In this case, it's been contracted down to I'm, and there's a link to a video about work contractions at the top of the screen. If you want to check that out and you're not quite sure how to do it, there's a link at the top of the screen. So I'm staying with my auntie until the decorators have finished my bedroom. I'm staying is the present continuous tense. Here we've got the continuous tense is a little bit further down. It's he's working. John can't come because he's working. Here again it's a contraction. He is has been contracted to he's working overtime. So it doesn't really matter where in your sentence the tense is, as long as you've got it in there, in the right sentences, right? Again, we're right at the beginning now. He is waiting. He is waiting. This time it's not contracted. This is the fully written out. He is waiting for his test results. I hear you're writing your autobiography. Is that true? I hear you're writing. You are writing. Contracted to your writing. As I say, check the link in the video to watch about contractions if you've not seen that already. Right? Your car is shining like gold in the sunshine. Now we're talking about an object. We've not got a person. We've got a car, an object, a noun. But the rule still applies. Your car is shining. So we've got the noun or the subject, and is the verb to be shining. with shine is the main verb, and ing is the participle that turns it into a continuous, a present continuous participle. Your car is shining like gold in the sunshine. The horse is galloping around the field in the snow. So now we've got an animal. So all these things don't just apply to people. This tense doesn't just apply to people. It applies to people, places, things, animals, anything, everything. As long as it's doing something and you're talking about something, then you use this tense. The horse is galloping around the field in the snow. Now, not all verbs can use the continuous tense. Stative verbs cannot use a continuous tense. Now, there's two types of verbs. There's stative verbs and there's active verbs. Now, active verbs are actions such as cook, walk and paint. So you can cook, you can walk and you can paint, and you can do these things. They're physical actions. And then the stative verbs. So prefer is a verb, but when you prefer something, you don't do anything. It's a state. It's a state of preferring one thing over another. If you prefer apples to oranges, well then it's not something you do. It's just a state in your mind of it's a preference. The same with appear. Appear, it appears that something happens. It seems as though something happens. It appears to happen. Now this is a state. It's not something that you can go out and do. All the others you can actually make a physical attempt to do the other things. You can't with these. You just states they are. And imagine is something that you've got in your mind. It's a state of mind. You're not doing anything to imagine. So I am preferring apples. Now you cannot use the continuous tense with prefer. I am preferring apples. Does not work. You can use it with cook. I am cooking apples. Yes, you can cook. That's perfectly fine. He is appearing to be poorly, or he seems to be poorly. Appearing to be poorly. You cannot be appearing to be poorly. Whereas walk, he is walking quickly. Yes, you can walk quickly. It's something you do. You can change your pace of walk and walk slowly. You can walk quickly, but it's something you can physically do. Imagine. I am imagining the view. You do not say I am. You can imagine the view, but you cannot imagining the view. You do not use it in a continuous tense, right? You can paint the view. You can get your paint and your easel, and if you're an artist, you can paint the view. It might be a view of a harbour or a mountain or an ocean or something, and you can paint, but you cannot imagine the view. So for these stative verbs, they have to be I prefer apples, not preferring. He appears to be poorly. Now appear there, you've got to make sure that you're using the right form of the verb. So if you're using he as a pronoun, then you must have an s on the end of it, or an es, depending on the spelling of the word. But appears needs an s, just an s, that's all. So he appears to be poorly. He seems to be poorly. Seems and appears in this context are pretty much the same thing. And I imagine the view. You cannot be imagining the view. You imagine the view. So all these are on the left hand side here. These are all stative verbs and the way that you use them, stative verb sentences. And the ones on the right, they can be both present simple and present continuous, because you can say I cook, I walk, I paint, or I am cooking, I am walking quickly, I am painting the view. So this tense isn't all that difficult to make. You just add am and ing, or the verb to be and ing. So it could be am, ing, I am working, he is working, we are working. So it's am and ing, verb to be and ing, and it's as simple as that to make. Am goes after the subject and ing goes after the main verb. If you don't have am, is, or are, then you don't have ing. Am is one of the conjugations of the verb to be. If you want to know more about am, is and are, then check this video here right now. In the next video, we shall be talking about the past tense. If you don't want to miss out, then make sure that you're subscribed and that you've rung the bell to let YouTube know that you want to be reminded when we release the video. Hope to see you there. Bye.